Welcome to the most in-depth and up-to-date Utah housing market forecast for 2022. There's some crazy things happening right now, some good and some bad, and it's causing a lot of confusion. People are wondering if we're in a housing bubble or if the market is going to continue to run. In today's video, I'm going to give you a clear idea of what the Utah housing market is predicted to do in 2022 and beyond so you can make the right decision when it comes to buying or selling your house. Hi, I'm Ty the Real Estate Guy, and if you'd like to stay up to date on latest real estate tips and trends, subscribe to my channel and ring that little bell. If you have questions or comments at any time during this video, please leave a message below. If you'd like to buy, sell, build a home, or invest in Utah real estate, please feel free to call or text. I would love to talk with you. And if you watch to the end, I'll make some recommendations that are sure to help those of you who are planning to buy or sell real estate here in the great state of Utah. So Realtor.com predicted that in 2022, Salt Lake City and the surrounding metros would be the #1 housing market in the nation. In this recent article by UtahRealEstate.com, the report forecast Salt Lake City seeing a 15.2% increase in home sales and an 8.5% increase in price change. It goes on to say that the median home price in Salt Lake City could be more than $600,000 by the end of the year. Realtor.com is predicting Salt Lake City will triple the national average increase in both home sales and home price growth. They point out that Salt Lake City is an outdoor enthusiast's dream with its close proximity to some of the best skiing, hiking, fishing, and mountain biking in the country, and that a lot of people are moving here for affordable homes, low cost of living, and the good schools, not to exclude Silicon Slopes. I could probably just say buy a house now and end the video because that's all you need to know, especially if you haven't purchased a home yet. But I've done some heavy research and I recently attended the 2022 Utah Housing Forecast where I had the honor of listening to James Wood and Arthur C. Nelson, two of Utah's most respected housing market forecasters. And I'm excited to share what I've learned. Before we get to it, I'd like to mention that I've been a realtor in Utah since 2004, about 18 years, and I've helped more than 500 people buy, sell, or build a home. I've been through the ups and downs of the housing market, including the Great Recession, which caught many of us off guard. I want you to know that I am careful and prayerful when I make these videos because I don't want to be the guy proclaiming that's all coming to an end just to watch the market run and run. But I also don't want to be that guy who's telling everyone to buy a home and then watch the market crash. Not only do I want to be ready the next time there's a market correction, but I also want to be the first one on YouTube telling you that it's coming. Okay, in a recent Deseret News article talking about the housing affordability crisis, they reported housing prices have skyrocketed. Rents are rising rapidly, and there's no sign that housing affordability will improve anytime soon. Many young families are being priced out of the market. In a second article, the Deseret News reported, Utah faces a severe housing imbalance. Utah's housing market is seeing rapid price increases and record home sales for a lot of reasons. But the biggest issue could be, number one, we're suffering from a severe housing shortage. Last I heard, we're approximately 30,000 housing units short of what's needed for our current population. Home builders are building as fast as they can, submitting a record number of building permits in 2021. But supply chain issues and labor shortages have slowed the home build timeline. More on this in a moment. On top of that, due to COVID and the low mortgage interest rates, many Utahns who normally would have sold their homes decided to refinance and just stay put. Many Utahns have loads of equity with a crazy low monthly house payment thanks to record low mortgage rates. A large portion of those who decided not to sell, along with many others who recently purchased a property, have decided to finish their basement or add on to their home in some other way. These additions include a home office, a theater room, a home gym, or additional family space, among other things. This increases the value of the home and makes it a more desirable place to live, reducing the chances that people will move. Escalating mortgage rates will also dissuade people from listing their homes. A major cause for the housing shortage is that builders have been underbuilding for a decade now thanks to the Great Recession. Now, because there's so much demand nationwide and because of COVID-19, we are suffering from a severe shortage in supplies. This is driving the cost to build a house through the roof and causing massive delays. This will likely keep supply lower than demand, which means home prices will continue to climb through 2022. Just so you know, healthy housing markets have a 3 to 6 month supply of homes, meaning that if no new homes were listed, it would take 3 to 6 months to sell the available houses. Here in Utah, there's only about a 1 month supply of homes. Simply put, we are in desperate need of more houses. Number 2, Utah's population is booming. First of all, Utah usually has one of the highest birth rates in the nation. But the explosive growth is coming from out-of-state buyers who are moving here in droves. Why are so many people moving to Utah? There are several reasons. One is for the quality of life. This would include things like being closer to friends and family, the conservative lifestyle. It's a relatively safe place to live, or maybe it's the wonderful activities Utah has to offer. The cost of living and the taxes are lower in many other states, so a lot of people move here to save money. But the main thing driving the population growth is our many options for employment. We currently have the #1 job market, and we consistently have some of the lowest unemployment rates in the nation. Yes, homes are being built in record numbers, but people are also moving here in record numbers. Once again, Utah is on the wrong side of what seems to be the never-ending issue of low supply and high demand. Number 3, mortgage interest rates. Obviously, mortgage rates affect housing across the country, but as long as rates stay below 4%, the housing market will continue to run. Mortgage rates have been low for quite some time now, but rates are expected to continue their upward trend through 2022 and beyond. And increasing rates will add pressure to buy right now. Once again, there are not enough homes. Over the last few years, the crazy low mortgage interest rates have been a major catalyst for home sales. And it's probably the #1 reason you should buy a home right now. Because rates are low, buying a house is often cheaper than paying rent for a similar property. With mortgage rates still sitting below 4%, many of you can afford to buy a home, even with the home prices hitting new highs. As a home buyer, these low mortgage interest rates significantly increase your buying power. The urgency for those of you who haven't purchased a home is that mortgage rates won't stay this low for long. And there's a good chance we'll never see rates this low again, as they're expected to increase through 2023 and maybe longer than that. Number 4, skyrocketing rents. There are a lot of advantages to buying a home versus paying rent, but perhaps the biggest advantage is that when you buy a home, your monthly mortgage payment will stay pretty much the same for 30 years. And then once the house is paid off, you'll have no house payment for the rest of your life, barring taxes and insurance. KJAS reported renters are paying about 18% more this year than they did a year ago. That is an insane increase, but because the shortage of housing and available rental properties, rent is expected to continue climbing. Just one more reason you should buy a house now. That is, if you can afford one. The longer you wait to buy, the more money you'll throw away on rent, and the longer you wait, the more you'll pay for your home. In this market, waiting just 1 month could cost you tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Home ownership has substantial financial benefits that renters don't receive. For a lot of homeowners, the equity built over 30 years is so great that they're able to sell their house, pay cash for something smaller, and retire on the remaining equity. A lot of people move to more desirable locations or buy a vacation home or an investment property. When you no longer have a mortgage payment, you'll have the ability to travel when and where you want, buy your dream car, pursue your hobbies, and spend more time with family and things of this nature. There are loads of reasons why owning is better than renting, and I've gone in depth on this subject in another video. If you're currently in a rental, be sure to watch Buy or Rent. I'll put a link to that video below. Okay, let's look specifically at what James Wood covered in the 2022 housing forecast. Utah is prone to rapid acceleration of housing prices. By looking at this chart, you can see that in the 1990s and 2006, we led the country in price increases. But Utah has never seen anything like what happened last year. You can see that we were 28.3% at the third quarter of 2021 for home price increase, second only to Idaho. If you were to compare us to other metros in the US, home prices have increased by more than 600% since 1991. That's 2.5 times the national average, and home prices have increased nearly 85% in just 5 years. Finally, if you look at the prices of homes in the Salt Lake Metro compared to the US, just before the recession in the first quarter of 2007, the median price was just shy of $207,000. That ranked Salt Lake 53rd out of 183 metros nationwide. Then, if you look at the median price at the end of the third quarter of 2021, Salt Lake City is now 24th of the 183 metros, sitting at $500,000. So home prices in Salt Lake City are higher than 87% of all metro areas. We currently have approximately 700,000 owner-occupied units and about 300,000 renters. This chart shows that in the last year alone, home prices have increased from approximately $439,000 to more than $556,000, creating a ton of wealth for homeowners while renters get nothing. Renters instead lost money, paying down someone else's mortgage, further widening the gap between homeowners and renters. A few years ago, the Federal Reserve put out this chart to show that homeowners have 40 times more wealth than renters. After this huge run on housing, I guarantee it's a lot higher than that now. To put it simply, rent sucks. You'll likely pay more than $500,000 in rent over a 30-year time period. After 30 years of paying rent, you'll have nothing to show for it, and you could find yourself paying rent until you die. It can become a lifelong commitment to nothing. If you're currently paying rent, I'd be honored to guide you through the process of buying a home. Please feel free to reach out to me. So how will these huge price increases impact potential home buyers? Obviously, it will get harder and harder for those who currently don't own a home to purchase one. You can see that from 2015, just 6 years ago, the median price home increased from $280,000 to $550,000. Though more recent numbers for December of 2021 put the median home price closer to $575,000. Even though mortgage interest rates are down approximately 1% from 3.9% to 2.9%, the lower mortgage interest rates were completely overcome by the drastic increase in housing prices, property taxes, and PMI. You can also see that the income required to purchase a home in 2015 was $58,100. Today, it's more than $100,000. That's nearly double. Sadly, pricing has continued to increase, and it's not looking like that will change anytime soon. This is same month year over data. For November, we're up 24.3%. James Wood doesn't think it can be sustained, but as of December, we haven't seen any slowdown in price increases. He also pointed out that higher rates of homeownership equal less inequality. And by the way, since the year 1900, Utah is the only state where home ownership has never dropped below 60% of households. In 2022, the housing shortage will continue. It's highly unlikely that we are in a housing bubble, and Utah's housing market will not crash. The only time since World War II that Utah has seen a prolonged period of price decline was in the Great Recession that started in 2007. As I've mentioned already, mortgage rates are expected to increase. It's possible rates hit 4% by the end of this year, though I'm praying that that doesn't happen. We also expect to see a similar number of sales, possibly reaching 18,000 in 2020. And it's predicted home prices will increase another 10 to 12%. So if you take the median price of a home, $575,000, and that home increases by 10%, by January 2023, that same house could be valued at more than $630,000. One of the biggest complaints that I hear is that homes in Utah are unaffordable. For a lot of people, that is true. And I would love for things to slow down, but it's just not going to happen. If you compare our home prices to many other parts of the world, we are still relatively affordable. For instance, home values in Utah would need to increase another 25 to 50% to equal that of Canada. This is just one more reason many investors are pouring into the market. Long story short, Realtor.com predicted Utah would be the #1 housing market nationwide in 2022 based on combined yearly percentage of growth in home sales and prices. Houses will continue to sell quick and prices will continue to climb. Now, in my research, I found a few other interesting things that I'd like to show you. This graph compares the cost of waiting to buy in 2021 versus 2022. Because home prices and mortgage rates are likely to increase, you can expect to pay an additional $200 per month for the same home 1 year from now. Because mortgage rates have jumped so quickly to start the year, it could certainly be worse than what this chart is showing. I really like these next two charts from the National Association of Realtors because they compare the different states to one another. The first chart shows where home buyer demand is high or low. And this next one shows where the supply of available homes sits for each state. It's interesting that they have Utah's market as stable when we are in housing shortage. It makes you wonder what home prices will do in some of these other states where supply is low. Then you have the Burns Affordability Index that compares the housing cost to income ratio. I've highlighted Salt Lake City in red. It's interesting that we are still in the average range for affordability, but I'd expect to see us climb closer to the top of this list as the year goes on. In today's video, I've talked a lot about the increase in home prices and how Utah homeowners are gaining a lot of equity. It's true. Real estate has proven to be one of the quickest and safest ways to build wealth. And real estate has helped more people become millionaires than any other means of investing. But there are loads of other advantages to owning a home. For instance, homeowners get large tax deductions. You may be able to write off mortgage interest, property taxes, and the mortgage insurance premiums, saving you thousands of dollars per year. Also, when you buy a home, you give yourself and your loved ones stability. Apartments, townhomes, and condo communities have high turnover. In a single-family home neighborhood, people tend to stay in their homes longer, so you're much more likely to make and keep friends for the long haul. Crime also tends to be lower. Also, when you own a home, you have the freedom to make changes or additions to your property to fit your lifestyle. These changes usually increase the value of your home and increase your quality of life. I hate to even mention COVID, but for those who owned a home during the outbreak and those who live in a house during the next shutdown, they will have a much higher quality of life as they have more space to entertain themselves and their family. And as a nation, we are expected to see a period of higher than normal inflation. Homes have proven to be one of the best ways to hedge against inflation. Okay, here's my final thoughts on the 2022 housing market in Utah. Home prices will continue to increase, most likely well into 2023. The one thing that could drastically slow the market is mortgage rates. Once interest rates go above 4%, when compounding with higher house prices, a lot of people will be priced out of the market. I'm guessing that we won't see 4% this year. Because mortgage rates and home prices will continue to climb, I recommend that as long as you're in a stable financial position, that you should buy a home, and the sooner the better. Home prices are going to climb fast, especially in the spring. As I mentioned earlier, waiting a month or two could easily cost you tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. If you're a first-time home buyer, you could quickly be priced out of the market. This will leave you with limited options like buying a smaller or older home, or you may be forced to purchase a condo or a townhome. Even worse, you could get stuck paying rent. Even if for some unforeseen reason prices stall out, increasing mortgage rates will continue to make housing less and less affordable. Utah's housing market will start to heat up again early in 2022. So those who buy a house right now will get it for less and lock in a lower mortgage rate. I do not recommend waiting at this time, and I want to be clear. Utah's housing market will not crash in 2022. If you think you're ready to buy a home, you'll want to reach out to a lender as soon as possible and get pre-qualified. Start there so you know how much home you can afford and what your monthly payment will be. I will gladly recommend a trusted lender if you're not sure who to reach out to. Because Utah is suffering from a major housing shortage, you may struggle to find a house that fits your wants, your needs, and your budget. You'll want to reach out to an experienced realtor to help you find a home and to guide you through the process. In a hot market, it's tough to compete with multiple offers. I know how to help you submit a competitive offer without overpaying for the property. And if you have a home to sell, I will sell it for top dollar. I've helped hundreds of people achieve their goals of home ownership, and I've helped a lot of people become real estate investors. Whatever your goals are, I'm here for you. Please feel free to call or text. I'd love to answer your questions. Okay, as promised, here's a list of videos to guide you through the process of buying, selling, or building a home. The first-time homebuyer to-do list. How to buy your first rental property. How to make the most money selling your home. The in-depth guide for buying a new construction home. I have hundreds of videos to guide you through the process. I'll put links to the most helpful videos below. If you have questions or comments, please leave a message right down here. I'll do my best to respond to each one of you. If you know someone who's preparing to purchase real estate here in Utah, please share this video with them. And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and ring that bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Ty the Real Estate Guy. If you found this information helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to ring that little bell below. It'll make you feel good.